Hi everyone, Carol here from Calling Back the Ancestors. So this week is our week when we're healing our ancestors of receiving blocks. Now, receiving blocks means that they couldn't receive during their lifetime. They had less free will, less ability to receive. In this lifetime, for you, it may be a feeling that you're always stuck with money, that you never really have enough money. So feeling blocked in receiving money can also be anything: love, friendships, anything you can imagine. You may feel or actually be blocked in receiving it. So how do we release that? Well, one stage very simply is to let's release our ancestors' blocks, because our ancestors' blocks we will have inherited as well, let alone whatever we created. So if we can reduce and eliminate our ancestors' blocks on receiving, we will automatically be less blocked ourselves. Today, we're going to be looking at our female ancestors through the centuries, through 2,000 years. We're going to release the blocks that held back our female ancestors. To do this, I'd like you to go and grab a drink. So go grab, I've got a peppermint tea here, but go grab a glass of water or another hot drink, whatever you like. And when I drink to the ancestors, you take a drink to your ancestors. If you want to take this recording out to walk in the park, that's fine. Just grab a headset, grab your drink, your bottle of water, and go and walk and listen. The same thing, take that drink to the ancestors. This is going to take about 15 minutes. If you haven't got the time now, come back and do this later. All right. I am going to make the assumption you are sitting in a room, you have a drink, you have a headset, and you have switched your phone off just for a little while. All right, and we will begin. Feeling safe and secure, feeling a golden pyramid forming down around you and reaching down into the earth below. Feeling yourself in this room, in this time, in this 21st century. Know that the stream of ancestors forms behind you. They sit behind you at all times in your life. Some sit with you, some surround you in a circle. Some stretch back into infinity, and you have the availability to contact all and to heal all. As blood calls blood, calling back the ancestors of mine that suffered from not having free will, controlled by others. They could not accept things of their own accord. They could not accept money. They could not accept love or friendship. They could not accept anything good in the world. They were being controlled by another. Calling back all the female ancestors of mine that were controlled in the 18th, 19th, 20th century. Calling you back here now to receive love and blessings from all the descendants that came after. For without you, we would not exist. Asking all the descendants to turn towards you, send their love towards you, send their thanks towards you. And as that love and thanks flows towards you, the ability to receive is now yours. The ability to receive is now yours. And as that flows down towards you, the divine understanding of that lifetime, of that pain, is now resolving, is now dissolving, and with it, wholeness, completeness. As blood calls blood, I say thank you, and I drink to you. Reaching back through the 17th, from the many centuries before, reaching back further and further in time, reaching back to the female ancestors of mine as blood calls blood, calling back the female ones of mine that suffered from lack of control. They could not receive anything without the say yes by another. They could not receive money unless they were told they could. They could not receive love unless they were told they could. They could not have friends unless they were told they could. Calling back all the female ancestors in my line that suffered in this way from the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th centuries. Calling back all the women that were controlled. Calling back the grandmothers that were controlled. The mothers that were controlled. The wives that were controlled. The sisters that were controlled. The girls that were controlled. Calling you back here now to receive the love and blessings of all those that came after you. All those that came after you are turning to you now, thanking you, sharing their love and care with you, holding their hands out to you, holding their arms out to you. And you now can receive. You now can receive. Calling you back here now for you to receive the love, receive the joy, receive the thanks, and to receive the divine understanding and knowledge that your life is exactly how it was supposed to be back then, back then, back then. And I say thank you, and I drink to you. Calling back further and further through the centuries, through the years, reaching back to my female ancestors that suffered so much with lack of control of their life, their body, their way. Calling back the female ancestors of mine that suffered, that could not say yes to receiving money, that could not say yes to receiving love, that could not say yes to receiving friendship, that could not say yes to receiving anything controlled. They were controlled. Calling back now to the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th centuries, so long ago, so very long ago. Calling back all the women of my line who were controlled, calling back the grandmothers who were controlled, the mothers who were controlled, the wives that were controlled, the girls that were controlled, the sisters that were controlled. Calling back all the women in my line to receive now the thanks and love of the centuries that came after you. You can now receive. You are now receiving. You have received. You have received the love as it flows down to the centuries towards you. You have received, and how hold high the love and thanks from all those that came after you. You now hold high the knowledge and understanding of the divine reasons why. You now receive that divine reason why. And me, your ancestor, says thank you, and I drink to you. Reaching back further and further through the centuries, calling back the women of my line that were prevented from receiving, controlled from receiving, could not receive, was disallowed, was not allowed. They were not allowed to accept money. They were not allowed to accept love. They were not allowed to accept friendship. They were not allowed to accept. Calling you back here, all those from the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th centuries to receive the love, the blessings of all the women that came after you. All those that came after you are now sending you their love, their thanks, and you now are receiving. You now are received. You now are the receiver. You are the receiver. And with that receiving comes joy, peace, settling, the receiving and the receiver. And now the divine love can flow down towards you, and you being the receiver are receiving the divine love, the divine understanding. And you are free. You are free. And me, your descendant, says thank you, and I drink to you. Reaching back further and further through the centuries to all the women in the line that suffered from being controlled and could not receive, calling back their grandmothers, mothers, sisters, daughters, girls, all those in my line from the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th centuries that could not receive because they were under the control of others, under the control of husbands, society, men, other women, other ways of living, other ways of being, controlled, could not receive love, could not receive money, could not receive anything that they chose without it being allowed by another. Calling you back here now to receive the divine love and blessings of the universe, the divine love and thanks of all the ancestors that came after, and you now can receive. You can now receive. You are now receiving. You are now the receiver. You are now the receiver. And with that knowledge, with that understanding, with that joy in your heart, it's now flowing down through the centuries down towards you. You are free. You are the freed one. You are the freed one. And I say thank you, and I drink to you. Reaching back through the centuries, through the days and nights of living, calling back through the centuries to the decades, through all the years and decades that passed, all through the thousands of years that have passed, all through the family tree, all through the women that could not receive because they were prevented, reaching back now to the 4th, 3rd, 2nd and 1st centuries, calling back in now to receive the love, the blessings of all the descendants that came after, reaching towards you through the divine blueprint of our genetics, reaching down through the divine weaving of the lines, the bloodlines as it goes down through the centuries as blood calls blood, calling you back here now to receive this love, this blessing. And as the ancestors and descendants turn towards you so long ago, they're sending their love, extending their arms, holding out their hands, and you who could not receive are now receiving love, receiving hugs, receiving touch, receiving the hands held out. And as you are receiving, you become received, you become receiver. You, the receiver, are now freed. The receiver is now free. And I say thank you, and I drink to you. Coming back now to this century, this time, sending love, sending back the freedom, sending back the freedom through the centuries so long ago to all the female ancestors, all the ones that came before me, all the ones that will come after me, sending freedom, sending freedom. You are free. You are freed. And with that, I thank all of you, and I drink to you. And with that, the last blessing, the last freedom, I say thank you to all. I can open my eyes. Slightly different wording. very much more channeled, I think, today than anything. I hope you get some benefit out of this. I think you will. Tomorrow we will speak to one of these female ancestors that could not receive because they were totally under control. All right, bye for now.